This week's Sunday's fixtures meant only one thing. Man City is at the top of the league, and I have a feeling that they are not going to let go and they will keep winning games. But we'll have to see how the fixtures will turn out at the end. As you can see, Liverpool lost to Palace, Arsenal lost to Villa. Both teams were expected to beat the opponents at home for sure, but yeah, they weren't good enough. West Ham lost to Fulham as well, and Fulham got the 3 points from the Hammers. Looking at Gameweek 34, I've prepared some early tips about your team selection and how you should approach it. If you enjoy them, don't forget to subscribe to the channel at the end, like the video, comment down below if you have any questions or anything to say, and let's dive right into the tips that I have to provide you. We'll start with the chips. If you still own a free hit chip, I believe this is the exact time you should be using it. For 37, and if you're still owning a wildcard, I recommend you wildcard for that week and activate your bench boost then. So activation of bench boost in 34, yeah, it's possible, especially if you own players from City, United, even Newcastle, because those teams are having theoretically easier fixtures than expected. And then you have the double ups from Arsenal, Liverpool, Wolves, Bournemouth, other teams that you most probably own several players from. But yeah, if you own the free hit, I believe now is the exact time you should be using it. I don't see a reason for you not to do. Maybe if you can activate triple captain and you still own it for Salah. But by the way, Liverpool are playing 2 away fixtures. After another 1 away fixture, it may seem like a risky thing. Saka is a viable option, but yeah, if you're not going to use it now in 35 when Spurs and Chelsea double up, so Spurs face Arsenal and Chelsea, so it doesn't look like a very probable week for you to activate the triple captain, and Chelsea face Villa and Spurs. Once again, not the best possible options for you to activate the chips, but nonetheless 34 should be for your free hit or your triple captain. If you own both of those chips, I would recommend using the free hit and the triple captaincy elsewhere, because you can get a better result in a single game week than most of the doublers, like we did with Haaland several weeks ago, where he disappointed us by a lot. But yeah, if you have a wild card, it's not the proper time to do it and to activate it. For me, it's going to be a waste, because after 34, when several teams are having only one fixture, there is going to be a great possibility for you to activate it and prepare for several other double ups, like with Chelsea Arsenal, Chelsea Spurs fixtures, with City, with Newcastle, with United, with who else is in it? I believe those were the teams, and Brighton, of course, I forgot about Brighton. But yeah, in my opinion, just don't waste the chip. I have something to add for maybe most probably next season, because my strategy was wrapped around thought of mine and I made a mistake. It's no use to prepare for a single double game week like I am doing at the moment if you're going to sacrifice a lot of other stuff. For example, I've made some goalkeeper transfers. I brought in Pickford instead of who was it? Fleno. I brought in Gusto because I wanted to hold his price basically and to have a good thing going on. I brought Cunha. I didn't sell Solanke. I had to sell Watkins. I brought in Salah. I did a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do if I wasn't preparing for the double in 34. So the way to do it, maybe next season, I'll use my free hit for one of the heavier doublers, and I'll use my bench boost slash wildcard for the second. I will see which way I'm going to use them, but for sure I'm not going to make the same mistakes again. I missed Foden's points, I missed Isaac points, I missed Gordon points. Those players were on my radar, especially Foden, who was in my lineup by the way, and especially Isaac, who I wanted to bring in for several weeks, but knowing that he has a double all the way up to 37, I just didn't bring him in, and now he destroyed my rank very well. Watkins has kept scoring even though there was an injury crisis going around him, but nonetheless, if I didn't bring in Salah, who I brought in for Sheffield United at home, to be honest. And for the double up in 34, if I had kept my free hit, most probably I wouldn't have brought on Salah, as I would have targeted each week separately, which once again is the most important thing. Preparing for 1 week of fixtures, and they may not turn out to be the way we expect them to turn out. We may lose on a lot of points, and that's what happened to me. I need to improve massively around the game week 1 squad, because for a third year in a row, this is where I fell short, preparing the best possible week 1, and this year it showcased to me a lot harder than the rest of the years that I've played seriously the game, because the mistakes that I made then were heavily shown, and I went up to almost 4th million in the world, which was a very low point of my managerial FPL career, and I had to go up from there. Yeah, I'm around the 400k, and I don't see a way to improve with that decision making that I made around the free hit usage and the transfers going into game week 34. Maybe it's good that I have 10 hours, but let's be honest, the Barney Dawson most probably not going to get any clean sheets though. Pickford, maybe one, but not too sure. Like if I kept Leno for 1 more week and for example brought in Gordon or Isaac, if I wanted to do that way, I would have gotten 9 points now from Leno, which would have been ideal. The free hit usage I should have stopped myself, because if you see, let's go and see, game week 28 was, so 29 was the free hit, yeah. So in 28 I owned Son, I owned Pedro Porro, I owned Leno, and I owned Watkins, and I owned Douglas Luiz. So I owned basically 5 of the best possible players. Let's not say Leno was the best, but I owned Watkins, Luiz, Son, and Pedro Porro. Basically I got everything that I needed there, and then I went and brought in who exactly? Tony, Gibbs White, and Madison, basically, and Bowen. So it wasn't looking like I was going to manage a lot of better points there. Maybe a single transfer to someone who had a pretty okay fixture would have been better, and now I would have had my free hit for 34, and this wouldn't have happened. Even by any miracle, if Bowen, Madison, Tony, all of them got 10 plus points, which would seem impossible, almost impossible, let's say, by Son and Watkins not being involved, I would have lost around 30 points, and since then I've lost way more on the preparation. So if you have to get one strategy from this season on, don't focus on the double game weeks so much in advance. Prepare for them maybe with chips, or maybe with a player that is okay around these fixtures, but Cunha was a wild card for me. I didn't want to sell Watkins. Solanke, I kept him solely for the double up. If I hadn't had the double up in 34 for Solanke, he was a goner, and on a free hit he was just going to come back up, but now he took the place from Isaac, and I knew Isaac was going to do well, especially I've seen him play in game week 30. After 30 I would have brought him in, and from 31, 32 and 33 I would have gotten his points, and now I would have kept him even before my wildcard. So I might have prepared even better. Maybe a wildcard after 30 was going to be the way to play, but I wasn't going to do that. So my advice from this season on is not to focus so much on the double game weeks in advance. Maybe prepare a little transfer, like if you can buy, for example, Saka or Gabriel, who are playing very well. Salah with the Ramadan, I should have thought about that, and I completely forgot about it. And he wasn't playing very well against Brighton, and even though that was the truth, I brought him in for Sheffield. He played awfully there. Then against United he wasn't up to par, even though he scored. I don't believe that he would have gotten me great points regardless. And then Gabriel was just there, but yeah, I wanted him. Cunha, as I said, pretty shady transfer to say, just because I wanted a double and I had to free budget. Yeah, Cunha scored this week, but in the past 2 weeks he got 1 points overall, and Isaac in that period got like 20 points more than him. So yeah, Isaac would have been better. And Ollie Watkins, by the way, has been destroying teams ever since, so I'm missing his points there as well. So truth to be said, I made mistakes. I am learning for them. I will write that down for sure, and I will not focus on a double game week solely. This will be one of my top 10 tips coming into the season. I will put it down in a minute, and I will need to prepare better for game week 1. That's what we take from this season. But let's try and salvage this season. Going into game week 34, my advice would be, if you still own a wild card, crush your team here and just use your wild card. Then you most probably own players like Saka, Salah, Gabriel / Saliba / White. You own Haaland, you own Solanke, you most probably own 8 Nuri, you most probably own Dean Henderson. So you most probably own great players for the double ups. Now you need to prepare for double ups, and if you are coming into game week 33 or 34, it's a great thing to start preparing maybe for 2 weeks for a double. This seems reasonable, like we did when Solanke had a double up in game week 28 or 27 was it? I cannot remember the exact week, but yeah, we prepared for 1 week then, and it was all great. I had my green arrow, I had everything, and I didn't waste on 3 or 4 weeks time of points just to be prepared. So truth to be told, now it's the time to prepare. If you're wildcarding and you have some value in Son and you don't want to lose it, try and find another way to fund the transfers. But my way is going to be to sell Son. As you can see here, I have 8 double ups so far, and Son is having a blank. Son is going to go out most probably for Diogo Jota. Screw it, guys, I'm going for a wildcard picks basically, and Diogo Jota is one. He's not back into form. He missed an okay chance today against Crystal Palace, and I'm hoping just for him to return to his best at game week 34. Most probably I'm bringing Eze, as he's a penalty taker, and I will have 6 penalty takers in my lineup. 7 if you consider Palmer. Palmer is going to be on the bench. I know this might seem risky / stupid, but away fixture to Arsenal doesn't seem like a week where I predict a lot of points coming Chelsea's way. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe they will destroy Arsenal like they destroy City when they played, but I'm going to risk it. I was preparing for so long for that double up, so I'm not going to get anything in my way. I'll have 2 Arsenal players, 2 Liverpool players, a Crystal Palace player, an Everton player, 2 Bournemouth, 2 Wolves, and I will keep Erling Haaland. I'm not going anywhere without him. City are in the form of their lives, and they're racking up some points left, right, and center. So yeah, I want to be part of that. And Haaland is my ticket to that, as Foden has not returned to full fitness yet, and I don't know if I'm going to own Foden coming game week 35. We'll have to see how they play in the double ups, how they prepare, and how the title race is looking after 34, but that's another topic. I'm going for Salah as a captain. Yeah, a double up is too good to be passed for a captain of his caliber. I know that he is not in form, but I'm hoping that they start scoring again, and Salah is part of those goals basically, and he returns into great form. The defense is just heavy metal and rock and roll and whatever happens. So yeah, there I'm not touching anything. In attack, Solanke and Kune, I hope for returns once again as they did in 33. I hope they replicate that in 34. So my tips for this week are to stack up with doublers, even if you're not on a wild card. After that, even if you're on a free hit, if you're doing only transfers for their sake, just get a doubler. Just get a doubler from Arsenal most probably, as they're looking more likely to score. Get a doubler maybe from Liverpool, but a cheaper one, as you can most probably turn him around next week for Foden, if it's possible for after 34. But yeah, that's my advice. Go and get a doubler. I know that seems obvious and everything, but yeah, we need to say it so we can be prepared. These teams look okay, especially when I bring in 2 more doublers. It will be 10 doublers, and let's see if that preparation pays out, because it haven't paid out yet, and I lost a lot of ranks and a lot of points during those so-called preparations, so I'm not going to fall into the trap of that once again, and I'm trying to remember that for next season. I'm going to put it out as a tip, and I'm going to remember it, and I'm going to present it next year as well. As already mentioned, if you want to support me through my journey up until the end of this season, and especially for the beginning of the next one, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications, like this video, put down a comment if you feel like saying something. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.